name is Chris, and welcome back to the NASCAR iRacing 2003 career season for today's MBNA Armed Forces Family 400 here today at the Dover International Speedway. This race will kick off the first race of the summer events that we're going to be going through. This will give us a good indication for how this race will kind of go maybe later in the fall. But to take a look at the point standings, coming out of last race is Charlotte. Zachary Smithly actually regained the point lead from Ryan Newman in second after Zachary won the Coca-Cola 600 last time out. There's a lot of drivers here that could gain some spots. The top 35 has definitely changed a lot after Jerry Nadeau's amazing finish at Charlotte last time out, so it's getting pretty crazy all throughout the point standings. But today we're going to see if it's going to get even crazier. But the only way to find out is by going to the starting lineup for the start of today's race. So here we are, the starting lineup. So here we go, and let's see who's in row number one, and that is Zachary Smithly, who last time out got his third career win at Charlotte, and today he grabs his third career pole of not only just the season but his career as well. And to his outside is Kevin Harvick, who dominated the Coca-Cola 600 but failed to win the race and unfortunately got taken out towards the end. Row number two, you find the JGR teammates of Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte. Row number three is Jimmy Johnson, looking for a three-peat today after winning both Dover races last time out, and Ricky Rudd is to his outside. Row number four is Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Ryan Newman. Row five, it is Michael Waltrip and Jeff Gordon, who's had a good string of races as of late. Waltrip, not so much. Row six today is Elliott Sadler and the 17 of Matt Kenseth. Row 7 is Jamie McMurray and Jerry Nadeau after he got his best finish of the season for MB2 in the 01 with a third place last time out of Charlotte. Row 8 it is Jeff Burton and Jeremy Mayfield. Row 9 it is the Roush Racing teammates of Mark Martin and Kurt Busch. Then in row 10 you'll find Robbie Gordon and Jeff Green. Row 11 today you'll find Tony Raines and Dale Jarrett. Row 12 will be Bill Elliott and rookie Gray Biffle. Row 13 is Kyle Petty and Sterling Marlin, who got another top 10 finish last time out of Charlotte. Row 14 it is Rusty Wallace and Ward Burton. Row 15 it is Casey Mears, who also got a top 10 finish last time out of Charlotte, and to his outside is Steve Park. Row 16 it is Johnny Benson and Terry Labonte. Row 17 today it is Todd Bodine and Ricky Craven. Row 18 Larry Floyd, who actually missed the Coca-Cola 600 last time out but made this race today, and to his outside it is Kenny Wallace. Row 19 it is Ken Schrader and the Hendrick car of Joe Nemechek. Row 20 is John Andretti and the returning of Derek Cope. Row 21 it is Dave Blaney and Mike Skinner. And right at the field in row 22 it is Morgan Shepherd, making his first start of the 2003 Winston Cup season. Then we have 7 DNQs today. We have the number 0 Haas Pontiac. Unfortunately, Jason Keller wasn't able to make today's race since he's competing full-time in the Busch Series, and he had to go up to the races they were doing this past week, or yesterday. And unfortunately, Haas wasn't able to get anybody in that 0 car, so there just wasn't a driver. And then you have Jimmy Spencer, who missed out, Christian Fittipaldi, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Kevin LePage, David Green, and Kirk Shelmerdine are the other drivers that unfortunately did not make the race. And then we have the track information for today. So the pit window should be around lap 55 to 59, with tires being around lap 35 to 50, depending on how good you can save with your tires. And fuel should be around lap 55 to 60. Fuel you could definitely go further on, but tires you're going to have to manage them if you want to be able to make it all the way to lap 50. If you don't manage your tires that well, you might have to pit around lap 35, maybe sooner, if your tires are going to be pretty bad towards the end of the first run. So tires will be the name of the game. Will there be, and is there a possibility that fuel mileage will also be the name of the game? Because you got to remember, when you come down pit road, you got to put enough fuel in the car to make it all the way to the end. And you don't, it's not going to be a good end of the story for you. And then we've been asking this question pretty much ever since the Daytona 500. And pretty much ever since we got a first multi-time winner back at Vegas. Will we have a new winner, and will there be a new multi-time winner? Or will one of the multi-time winners just continue adding on wins this season? As so far right now, there are 8 different winners still throughout the season. And the driver leading with the most wins is Zachary Smithly after his win last time out of the Coca-Cola 600. And then Ryan Newman with the Daytona 500 last, and all the way back in Vegas. Jeff Burton with Darlington in California. Bill Ellie with his home win in Atlanta. Jimmy Johnson with the win at Bristol. Jim McMurray with the win at Texas. Biffle with the win at Talladega. And Jeff Gordon with a win at Richmond. So will there be a 9th driver adding their name today, or will one of these drivers win here today at Dover? Well, we're about to find out who's going to get the job done and who's going to win here on the concrete oval that is the Dover International Speedway. So this should be a very fun race and a very entertaining race to watch. But the only way to find out, or the only way to get this race going, is by sending it up to Mike Joy, Larry Mack, and DW to lead us to the green.
Everybody weaving back and forth, just trying to get some heat in these tires, because again, they're going to lack a lot of grip in these tires with this racetrack being as cold as it is and no rubber.
Yeah, and you got to start real low on air pressure because we get a lot of buildup here in the tires, so that makes it even worse trying to get going. We're ready to go.
Now, Robbie Gordon, he's running now, but he will be at the rear of the field back there with Joe Nemechek and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Raines. DW, 400 laps, High Bank Mile racetrack. Reach up there and pull them belts tight one more time before we get going.
Boogity, 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 boys! Let's go racing!
Well, Kevin Harvick got an amazing launch off rip to grab the lead away from Zachary. It may have looked like he jumped to start a little bit, but Zachary he did go, but Harvick just got a way better jump. And that's how he was able to get Zachary. And, oh, Zachary back there got a little bit loose coming off a 2. But Kevin Harvick so far has the lead. We'll see how long he's able to hold it. Because last time out at Charlotte, he led 75 of the race's 100 laps. And unfortunately, towards the end of the run, or the end of the race, he ended up making contact with Mark Martin, and that took him out of contention for the win against the man that's actually going to be fighting him for the lead that's behind him, and who would eventually go on to win the Coca-Cola 600, Zachary, in the 80 car. But you see Zachary getting closer in 3 and 4. Harvick kind of has an advantage going into turns 1 and 2. Zachary kind of can follow him and kind of get what he's going. Kind of get what he's putting down. But Harvick, he's looking for a bounce back after coming so close to winning the Coca-Cola 600 and even after being taken out of the race towards the end. Whoa, Zachary a little bit loose out of 4, but he held on to it somehow. Harvick's biggest competition is going to be that Napa Chevy of Zachary Smithly. Right now, Zachary ain't going away from Harvick. Harvick ain't able to put a bit of a gap on Zachary. He actually blocked Zachary quite a bit. Blocked him really, really nicely at it in turns 3 and 4 to slow his momentum down. So you're going to go for vie for the outside. He will go to the outside. Can he get a run? He doesn't look as close enough. Oh, but Harvick left the outside open. Harvick goes defensive on the inside. Zachary will gladly take the outside, and he'll go right around the outside of Harvick, and he'll take the lead. And Zachary will lead lap 6 here at Dover. He lost the lead on the initial lap, and 6 laps later, he is back out front. If Harvick thinks he's out of contention for this win, he's dead wrong because he's got a long ways to go. But if Zachary's going to be able to pull away from Harvick, that might be a bit of a problem for him. Zachary's doing a really good job so far, maintaining the lead, going to the inside, rolling that bottom like he does, and keeping the position over Harvick, maintaining more momentum. You see further back the JGR teammates of Tony Stewart and Bob Labonte running 3rd and 4th. There's Ricky Rudd, who sits 5th, having a good run. Johnson trying to go for a 3-peat in 6th. Earnhardt Jr. sits 7th. Newman, who sits 2nd of the points, is 8th, with Gordon, who sits 3rd in points, at 9th. Right behind them is Elliott Sadler in the 38, running the top 10, just ahead of Matt Kenseth in the 17. Jeff Green and Michael Waltrip look like they're going to go out of here in a little bit. There's Nadeau in the 01, keeping his strong performance going. You look even further back in the pack. They are side by side and getting all squirrely back here. Look at this. Mark Martin and Sterling Marlin are thankfully ahead of all of this, but Bill Elliott and Casey Mears, with them being side by side, they ain't so lucky. Oh man, Bill Elliott just rolling that outside right around Casey Mears and making it look easy. Mears trying to keep his momentum going after his top 10 last time out at the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte. A lot of these drivers, they're trying to make something happen, but we're going to see as there's a crash behind him. Trouble for Kenny Wallace, almost flips upside down, and the caution is out. Kenny Wallace got into it with, it looks like Derek Cope in the 37 car. We'll have to get a look at a replay to see what happened. But Kenny Wallace almost goes upside down. Wow. See further ahead. There's the camera angle. Yeah, it looks like Mike Skinner and Derek Cope actually got some damage from that. Here's a replay. Morgan Shepherd on the inside. Oh. Seems like Kenny Wallace may have gotten loose and maybe didn't see Morgan Shepherd was a little bit farther down than he thought. Drifted up into Derek Cope, who we're now on board with, to see what he saw. Yeah. I think Kenny Wallace just got to squeeze Derek Cope a little bit without even recognizing that he was a little bit too close. We're right on board with Mike Skinner in the 4. And Morgan did kind of drift up a little bit, but he did shoot back down, so he did get a little bit loose to shoot back down. Oh, man. A little bit of contact on the right front for Skinner in the Kodak Pontiac. Aboard with Dave Blaney, just behind Derek Cope. From that angle, it looks like Kenny Wallace was thinking he could get a good run. He was trying to carry that momentum to the outside of Derek Cope. It didn't work. On board with John Andretti, who was ahead of all of this. Oh, yeah. Also just looks like Kenny just kind of pushed Derek Cope further up the track without knowing that Morgan kind of shot back to the inside. On board with Kenny Wallace. This is going to be a wild ride for Kenny. Very acrobatic. It just landed right on all fours. But Kenny Wallace is able to get back going, which is nice. So not too bad of damage on Kenny Wallace's car, but definitely not the start to the race that Kenny Wallace was hoping. And now this changes this pretty much changes strategy, because now with these drivers going being slow as they are under pace laps, they're going to be able to save her fuel and save her tires and probably go even longer than probably the lap 55 to 59 range that we were thinking that they would have to go. We look further and further back up into the field. The Kurt Busch, Tony Raines in the 74, Jeremy Mayfield, Robbie Gordon, Bill Jarrett, Jeff Burton, Sterling Marlin. You got Mark Martin. A lot of faster cars back here, like Bill Elliott, Terry Labonte is a pretty fast car too. Got the rookies of Casey Mears, Gray Biffle back there with Benson in between them. Rusty Wallace, Steve Park, Ward Burton, Tapadine, Larry Foyt, Ken Schrader, Ricky Craven, Joe Nemechek even. And then there's Andretti. Morgan Shepherd didn't get any damage on his car, and looks like Derek Cope came down to the pits for some repairs, and yeah, it looks like Mike Skinner's going to stay out. He may not think the damage on the right front's that bad. But Derek Cope, Dave Blaney, and Kenny Wallace actually all three came down pit road to get some repairs on their car, get some fresher tires in the car, which will pretty much change the race, I'd have to say, for them strategy-wise. Zachary Smithly, I mean, what an amazing couple of weeks that this 80 car has had. He didn't start the greatest back at Charlotte when he started 19th. Before that, in the Winston, he was in contention for the win and finished second. Come the Coca-Cola 600, he was one of the faster cars, and he looked like to be the one that could compete against Kevin Harvick in the 29. And he beat him on strategy, and he went on to utilize that and go on to win the race. Now here today, he sits on the pole, and even though he lost the lead off the start of the race, he ran Harvick down within 6 laps, and well, Zach's back out front leading. And Zach could extend his point lead come out of this race, but here we go. Pace car's off, and Zach's gone. Harvick, Labonte, Tony Stewart, they followed closely, but green flag is back out. Zachary didn't get too far out ahead of either of any of them. Zach didn't jump the start like a lot of drivers have done. That is one of the things that that the tower is going to be paying attention to. Is if a driver jumps to start, they will get black flag. It happened quite a bit back at that happened at Bristol and Talladega, and NASCAR's now going to keep a closer eye on it. So even though Zach didn't jump to start, stays right out ahead of Harvick. Harvick looking to run a different line maybe to get to Zach. As you see behind both Zach and Harvick, Tony's going to the inside of Bobby Labonte for third. Can he try to complete the pass on his teammate? He might be able to. Schrader and John Andretti are down pit road. They may have had some earlier damage. There you see them down pit road. May not be too bad after all, but looks like they had to come down pit road for some repairs. See further ahead, Harvick is kind of gaining on Zach a little bit, but further back you see Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte still going at it. And now Ricky Rudd getting involved. Stewart will take third away. Rudd's going to try to follow. Behind them, Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson are going at it for 6, with Newman sitting right behind him. Rudd will take 4 from Labonte. Now a 3-car battle for 6 turns into a 4-car battle with Jeff Gordon getting added into it. Johnson cleared Jr. for 6. It looks like he can. He got a little bit loose, though. So they're going to be still side by side coming up the corner. Now Elliott Sadler in the 38 join the frame. Matt Kenseth in the 17 has 2. But Jr. and Ryan Newman get out ahead. Johnson and Gordon. Ooh, man. Gordon had to check up for Johnson getting tied off the corner. Now 3 wide again between Sadler, Waltrip, and Kenseth. Well, Waltrip went up the track a little bit. Almost got into the side of Elliott Sadler. Got to be careful. Now they were careful. Both Waltrip and Elliott Sadler into the wall off of turn 4. Thankfully, no caution. And thankfully, nobody crashed. But those are 2 cars that look like they have a good chance to maybe compete for a good run today. Damage on the right side of both cars. Doesn't look like it's too bad, though, because Waltrip's still able to go. But handling is going to be a big problem. Going to be a big, big problem here in a little bit. See, Waltrip trying to go around the outside of Jeff Green to the 30, but I got to check up a little bit. Looks like Sally's going to come to pit road. Waltrip in the 15, I think, is going to come down pit road as well to assess the damage. And there goes Sadler, and there goes Waltrip. Man. Both cars, like we said before, that look like to have a good chance to maybe compete for a top 5 or a top 10 even. Both down pit road, even Top O'Donnell, the 54's down pit road. I wonder what happened to him. But that is such a shame for Waltrip and Sadler, as you see the leaders of Zachary, Harvick, Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, and Ricky Rudd coming by. Zachary's doing a pretty good job maintaining the lead, maintaining his tires, trying to race some lines that give him some more grip, maybe put some extra rubber on the tires. And he's able to stay out ahead of Kevin Harvick. And Harvick is kind of losing some ground to the JGR boys of Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte right behind him. And even Ricky Rudd. Here comes Sadler out of the pits. Waltrip's out of the pits. These drivers are going to have to navigate their way around him. Looks like Harvick's going to catch Sadler at the worst possible time ever. Because Sadler held it on the bottom and Harvick had to go to the outside, but nothing happened. Does Zachary make this easier on Elliott Sadler? Looks like he will. He goes right to the outside, and there goes Sadler right by Zach. Zach did not want to make a random fight happen between him and Sadler, because Sadler's not for position. He has to be put a lap down, but a caution doesn't come out. Might be it might be day done for Sadler and his bid to maybe get a good finish today. Tony's actually gained some time on Kevin Harvick because of that. They're actually still close behind Zachary in the 80 car because Zachary kind of might be saving tires, and now he may have used up some of his tires, but a lot of these drivers are using up their tires just to catch Zach in general. And Harvick is one of those drivers. See Zachary just maintaining the gap, but Tony looks like he's getting better runs out of corners to catch Harvick. Goes a little bit slow. Zachary, he is kind of going a little bit higher in the corners, but in doing so, he's actually losing time to Harvick behind him. Yeah, look at that. Zachary's not quite running the bottom line. He's kind of running a little bit above it. Maybe realizing his tires are kind of going away as here comes Harvick to the inside. Zachary will give him the bottom. He'll take that middle line. Here comes Tony, though. Zachary gets right back to the inside. Tabo down in the 54s joined the frame. He is a lap car. He's got to pay attention to what's going on around him. Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick are going to go at it for second as Zachary trying a different line, maybe trying to diamond the corner. And Tony, he gets a good run out of 4, and he grabs second away from Harvick. Harvick's kind of checking up top behind Zachary. Then got the marbles up there on the outside, but he holds the lead off Tony Stewart. He's going to try the outside again in 3 and 4. Tony goes to the bottom. I think Zachary's realizing his tires are kind of going away, so that's why he's running a different line. With Labonte back there actually lost 4th to Ricky Rudd. Oh, Tony actually went into the marbles. I think Zach ahead almost did too. I think he actually did. But he actually cuts right down in front of Todd Bodine at the 54. Is he going to make it easy on Todd Bodine like he did for Sadler? It looks like Zach will. He won't fight Todd Bodine as much. And there goes Todd Bodine right past Zach. Zach made it a lot easier. Harvick back there is about to lose 4th. He actually lost 4th and he actually lost 3rd and 4th to Rudd and Bobby Labonte. Zachary trying that outside line and seeing if it'll work. So now Bobby Labonte and Ricky Rudd are going at it for 3rd. Labonte, I think he may think that he might be faster than the 21, but Rudd, with him running that middle line, it actually is working, and I think Harvick's tires are kind of going. But he goes right back on Bobby Labonte to go for the 4th spot to try to retake it. See Zachary running that higher line. We try to maintain some speed, maintain some momentum on Tony Stewart. And that Home Depot Chevy, the defending series champion. Oh man, Tony got a really good entry of 3 and 4. Had a good middle of 3 and 4, as a matter of fact, to keep it behind Zach. Oh, Zach got way too high in 1 and 2, and that's going to allow Tony Stewart to take the lead. They make a little bit of contact, but it seems like Zach's going to hold the lead off of Tony Stewart. Here comes Ricky Rudd in the 20. He's on the outside of Tony Stewart. Zach actually kind of held Tony Stewart back a little bit, which now allowed Rudd into the fight because Harvick and Labonte are going at it. Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon are joining that fight. Tony gets back by Rudd. And now he's back into second just behind Zach. See the battle for 4th back there going on between 3 drivers. Bobby Labonte, Kevin Harvick, Dale Earnhardt Jr. now. Jr. having a really good day so far. Goes right to the outside of Harvick, and he grabs 5th off of him. Up ahead, Rudd just went to the inside of Tony Stewart for 2nd. Tony runs that higher line to maybe get some momentum on the outside. Looks like Rudd is going to be able to hold it. And it looks like Tony's going to get a little bit further out ahead. While they're doing this, Zachary's actually running away with the lead. Probably the biggest gap that Zachary has had to 2nd place so far today. And now that Rudd's actually cleared Tony Stewart, that's going to be interesting for Zach. As you see Harvick and Jeff Gordon are going at it. Ryan Newman's entered the frame. The battle for 6th. Now the battle for 2nd again. Tony's going to try the inside. Maybe the inside will work better than the outside did. Not for Tony. Inside didn't work well at all for Tony, but the outside worked for Ricky Rudd. As Gordon actually took 6th, and it looks like Newman's going to take 7th from Harvick in the 29. So Harvick's tires might be going away. He probably didn't savor them, and he probably pushed his car too hard. The frustration of last week at Charlotte may have gotten to him a little bit, as the man that beat him for the win last time out is still leading here at Dover. And Ricky Rudd is slowly closing that gap now that he doesn't have Tony all up on his inside or on his outside. But Zachary is running that middle line. So Zachary, I think, is trying to find ways to keep with the momentum, but also trying to find ways to get grip into his tires again. He actually runs the little bit higher from the bottom in 3 and 4. Meanwhile, in 1 and 2, he kind of runs that middle line. We'll see if he does it here in 1 and 2, if he runs that middle line. Yep, there he goes. He goes to run the middle line. Rudd kind of followed him. You see Zach, he actually cut back down to the inside, which allowed him to get a nice run off. Nice little exit. Zach's still kind of doing the exact same thing. Rudd is trying to maybe see if he can maybe follow in Zachary's line. Ooh, Zach got a little bit loose coming out of 3 and 4. Yep, there goes Zach right to the middle. Rudd kind of followed it in his tracks. Maybe in doing so, that's going to hold him up, because here comes Tony in the 20. Tony's going to go to the inside of Ricky Rudd for second. Rudd actually goes almost into the marbles up there on the outside. And now here we go again. Side by side for second place. Bernard Jr. back there. Looked like he was going to get Bobby Labonte. He might actually get Labonte, as Tony Stewart's going to get Ricky Rudd. Maybe not, actually. Looks like Ricky Rudd's going to hold the position on Tony still. Yeah, but he cuts right down in front of Tony to guarantee the position to himself. Labonte holds 4th over Jr. Gordon's going to try to go for 5th, though. He's going to try to take advantage. It doesn't look like he can. Gordon trying to add his name to the list of multi-time winners so far this season. I mean, his rookie driver, Zachary's won 3 times and a crowd jewel event, so Gordon would love to get himself another win this season. If he's able to be the day, but who knows? Back up to second. Zach's running away with the lead, but Tony's going back after Rudd. If Tony can get Ricky Rudd at any point in the next couple of laps, he may have a shot to get Zach. They both were kind of slow entering 1 and 2. We'll see how they fare going down the back straightaway. It looks like Tony's got a better run and a better entry into 3, and he'll grab second from Rudd. You see further back for 6, or 7th. No, it's 6. 6 between Ryan Newman and Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte looking to the inside of Ryan Newman. And Labonte will grab the spot away. Kevin Harvick in that 29, try to maybe get a good run on Ryan Newman. It doesn't look like he's gonna get it, unfortunately. We're gonna try to put the pressure to Dale Jr. for 4th place. You see up ahead, Tony's actually gained on Zach. Zach's still trying to run different lines to try to maybe combat Tony's runs that he's getting, which it looks like he did that off 1 and 2. He went from the bottom back to the middle on exit. And that's what slowed up Tony, because it kind of caught Tony off guard a little bit. Back there, Jeff Gordon going for 4th on Junior, and he gets it. It's a nice run on, he had a nice run on Junior coming out of 3 and 4, and he carried that momentum down the front straightaway. Meanwhile, up ahead, Tony Stewart's gained on Zach again. We're almost halfway through this race. Zachary just trying to maintain the gap over Tony. But Tony's going to try to find different ways to maybe pass Zach here. Zach's going to give him the bottom. He goes a little bit higher than he has before. Tony gets close. They don't make contact, it don't look like. They're almost side by side down the back straightaway. Tony almost had him. Zach places his car nicely in the middle. Tony's going to try that high line. I think Tony realized that it wasn't going to work, because it didn't work when he was fighting Rudd. So maybe he'll try the bottom. Zach, as a matter of fact, is still running that middle line. Try to maybe catch Tony off guard a little bit. Maybe trying to tell Tony, hey, I'll give you the bottom. I need the outside, though. But I want my tires to last longer. That's the only way it seems like that Zach's going to have his tires last longer, if he runs that middle. Oh, a little bit contact into the wall goes Zachary. Just to the inside, he gets a little bit squirrely down the front straightaway. but Tony can't quite take advantage of it. It didn't really mess up Zach's entry into turns 1 and 2. Tony does gain some times though. That did cost Zach a little bit, but it was mainly coming out of 1 and 2 after all that happened. As now off 4, Tony gets really close to Zach now, as we're almost halfway through this race. See, Zachary goes to that middle, almost, it's the marbles. Tony's gonna grab the spot. Zach holds him, and he's gonna get him back on the back straightaway. There's a nice clean race in between these two. Tony gonna try to maybe try the outside on Zach. Nope, Zach's gonna go back up there. Got 51 to go and a pit stop left. Oh, Zach actually went to the inside. He actually, maybe Zach meant to do that. Normally Zach runs the middle line to give Tony the bottom. Looks like he's gonna try to 3 and 4 now. Around the middle, he'll give Tony the bottom. Tony's gonna take the position. No, he won't. Here comes Zach right back on him. Still leads that lap. We are now halfway through this race. And he cut down right in front of Tony as they entered 1 and 2. Tony trying to find different ways to maybe get around Zach here. Oh, dang, Zachary actually chose the same line as Tony did, and that upset Tony's car. Tony gathered it back up pretty fast, but yeah, it did kind of upset Tony a little bit. Tony just needs a good entry into 1 and 2 to maybe make this pass work. Oh, man. Didn't quite work for Tony there, because Zach's still maintaining the lead. Not sure when these drivers are going to pit. They might pit within the next few laps, because their tires have actually gone further than the amount that we thought that they were going to go. They're past the 50 lap point. So in all honesty, it might be around the next 2 to 3 laps is when everyone's going to pit. Zach's actually kind of pulling away from Tony Stewart, the 20. Ricky Rudd, the 21's gotten a little bit closer. Bobby Labonte, the 18, also as well. Bobby Labonte looked like he was trying to go to the outside of Rudd to grab the spot. Take a look at pit lane. Got our chopper view. This is the first time we've seen this. Tony actually gained some time back on Zach. You see Zach, the back of his car is a little bit squirrely when he enters the corner, but it ain't too much to where Zach can't handle it. Tony really wants to pass Zach and put those rookie stripes behind him. He doesn't have to keep looking at him. Here comes Tony again. Oh man. So close to one another. Tony goes to the inside. Oh, Zach, he actually held it. Oh, yep, he held it on the outside. Zach's doing some nice defensive driving. He's got 45 laps to go. Pit stops are definitely coming up here, though. 3 cars are going at it for third. Rudd, Jr., and Labonte. Oh, is that Tony coming down pit road? I think that's Tony's indication. That might be Tony coming down. I think he's going to try to catch Zach off guard. Yep, there goes Tony. Labonte, Rudd, and Earnhardt Jr. follow him. Gordon stays out. McMurray stays out. Harvick, Newman, Johnson, Kurt Busch come in. Dale Jarrett comes in. Mayfield is in. While these cars behind are staying out. So now, when does Zach react to that? Here comes Mike Skinner on pit lane. It looks like Zach's going to pay attention to it. Now he's going to react to Tony. And he's going to get a whoa down. Ooh! Locks up the front tires. Trying to slow her down. As it seems like the rest of the field is coming down pit road, besides Jeff Burton, actually, in the 99. And Biffle, same with Blaney, Kyle Petty, Rusty Wallace, Michael Waltrip, Sadler, Kenny Wallace, Derek Koch, Todd Bodine, Ward Burton, Morgan Shepherd, Ken Schrader, and John Andretti. Maybe Casey Mears. But now will Jeff Burton come down pit road? Looks like he's given an indication that he will. Back there we saw looks like Greg Biffle and Kyle Petty gave the indication that they were also coming down pit lane, which they are. And Dave Blaney, who pitted after the most recent caution, is going to grab the lead, and he's going to lead here at Dover. There's Labonte. He's actually net P1 if this cycles out in the way that we're thinking it's going to cycle out. There you see Zach in the 80 car. There goes Labonte. So Bobby Labonte actually jumped his teammate Tony Stewart. We just saw Tony before we switched cameras coming out of turn 1. But right now, the leader is Dave Blaney in the 77. Michael Waltrip sits second, and Elliott Sadler sits third. So now with Dave Blaney, because he pitted after the caution back on lap 11, after he got caught up in it, now the main question for Dave Blaney is when does he pit? It's going to be the main question. Morgan Shepherd actually came down pit road. Just saw Labonte going after Mike Skinner. Zach goes right on the outside of Todd Bodine, who was P5 for a moment. Now that's Zachary's. Fourth is Bobby Labonte ahead of him. See Ricky Rudd behind him in the 21. So it seems like Tony Stewart wanting to maybe pull off the undercut on Zach kind of worked, but it worked in the favor of Tony's teammate, Bobby Labonte. It didn't work so much for Tony. See Derek Cope that just come out of the pitch. See further back there, Zachary actually got a nice run off of turn 4 to go after Kenny Wallace and Bobby Labonte especially. This is basically for net P1 between these two. Zach goes to the inside of Labonte. They're going to be side by side in 3 and 4. Can Zachary get the position coming out of 4? He gets it in the middle of 3 and 4. And once pit cycles go all the way through, Zachary will be the leader. But third place, Elliott Sadler's right ahead of him. Oh, he gets close to Sadler. He almost hit Elliott Sadler. He almost hits Andretti, but he goes to third. Leaving Bobby Labonte to deal with all that mess. Here comes Dave Blaney. Blaney, I think, is coming on to pit road. He is. He holds up Derek Cope a little bit. Michael Waltrip takes the lead back, but here comes Zach in the 80. Can he get the lap? There he goes. He left that lap that time. Zachary Smithly back out front. Waltrip second. Now that goes Labonte, who's second. Waltrip's down to third. Then Ricky Rudd is in fourth. Then Elliott Sadler fifth. Waltrip and Sadler got to pit at some point because they know they ain't going to be able to make it all the way to the end. See Kenny Wallace and Dave Blaney are actually down pit road. Ooh, Ryan Newman almost made contact with Elliott Sadler back there, coming off of turn 4. See Bobby Labonte trying to work on Mike Skinner. Labonte may think he has a car to go after Zachary. So you see Ricky Rudd sitting in third. Waltrip's in fourth, but he's going to lose fourth to Earnhardt Jr. He's going to lose fifth here soon to Ryan Newman in the 12. Jr. kind of got caught behind Morgan Shepherd in the 89. There goes fifth, given to Ryan Newman. Tony Stewart sits seventh now, passing Elliott Sadler. Sadler falls down to ninth now after getting passed for eighth by Gordon. So Tony Stewart, who was the first one to kick off the pit cycle, who was sitting in second. Now, once this is all said and done, and all the pit cycles have gone through, he'll sit in sixth position. See Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Ryan Newman going at it for fourth. Jr. trying to utilize Morgan Shepherd to his advantage and try to hold up Ryan Newman, which it looks like it's going to work. And there goes Jr. around the outside of Newman. Ricky Rudd has actually gained some time on Bobby Labonte. You see Zachary in the 80 car. Look at the mess that he is in. Look at the lap cars that he's got to deal with. He's got Dave Blaney, Ken Schrader, Ward Burton, Larry Foyt. He's in the middle of all this. Oh, man. Contact between him and Larry Foyt. They both save it. But, man, that is something that Zach did not need to have happened. See Labonte back there. He's actually seeing that Zachary's getting caught behind this mess. But he's actually going to utilize Ward Burton checking up Andretti and Dave Blaney to get around both of them and even go after Ward. Oh, Zach almost went to the body. He may not have thought he was clear. That's okay, though. He actually cleared Ward Burton. They're going to try to get a nice run. There's actually 3 cars in between Zachary and Bobby Labonte. Is Zach going to try the outside on Ken Schrader? Doesn't look like it. He might get a good run out of 1 and 2. Carry that momentum down the back straightaway. It looks like that's what it's going to be. He'll carry that momentum. He'll get to the inside. We won't be able to quite pass him. Actually, he will be able to pass him. We can get a camera back on. There we go. Zachary's going to the inside of Ken Schrader with 30 to go. There he goes. Oh, he goes right to the outside to avoid making contact with Larry Foyt again. Holy moly. Zachary darted to the outside to avoid making contact with Larry Foyt, but also risking himself hitting the wall, which thankfully he didn't. And there he goes around the inside of Larry Foyt. And now there's clean racetrack ahead of Zach. And there are 5 lap cars in between himself and second place, Bobby Labonte in the 18. Holy cow. Zach, I'm pretty sure, has just made everyone's heart drop, but he's done that quite a bit this season. You see Larry Foyt, Dave Blaney, and Ken Schrader going at it. Behind Zach, there's Labonte sitting in second. As a matter of fact, behind Labonte, Earnhardt Jr. is going after Ricky Rudd for third. But Rudd is going to utilize Derek Cope to slow down Jr., but actually doesn't look like it worked. I think Rudd went a little bit higher than he wanted to. Got in the marbles, and that's going to keep Jr. to his inside. Maybe that'll give Jr. the spot, or maybe Rudd can roll that outside. The Jr.'s kind of drifting up the track a little bit. And there goes Rudd. He got a nice run on the outside to keep the third spot on Dale Jr. Michael Waltrip passing Bobby Labonte, which makes it all the more difficult for Labonte because now there's 6 cars in between him and the race leader, Zachary. Elliott Sadler in the 38 was coming off a pit road again. He may have made contact with another driver. We can't quite tell who it was. May have happened around the time when Zach was darting to the outside to avoid making contact with Larry Foyt. There's the Elliott Sadler just ahead of Ryan Newman in the 12, and then you got Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon behind. Gordon's going to go around the outside of Tony Stewart. Man, Tony, he had a chance to maybe take it to Zach tonight, rather today, but it just wasn't enough for Tony. It just was not enough. Talbot to the 54 might actually make it easier on Jeff. He might actually push Jeff past Tony here. Jeff kind of goes a little bit to the inside to maybe take some of the air away from Tony. Looks like he did kind of that. And there goes Gordon, taking the spot away from Tony Stewart in the 20. Actually, Jimmy Johnson, the 48's way back there. Thought he was maybe closer. The Ryan Newman at 12, still working Morgan Shepherd. Up for third. Earnhardt Jr. on the outside of Ricky Rudd. Jr. trying to utilize the outside, but Ricky Rudd's going to utilize the inside. Jr. kind of got a good run, but also Sadler's really, really close. He almost got to the inside of Jr. But Jr. and Rudd once again slowed up. Wow! Sadler just goes right in between Earnhardt Jr. and Ricky Rudd. As they're battling it out for third, Jr. almost caught in the marbles because of it. But because of that, actually, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to take third place from Ricky Rudd. Now can Jr. catch Labonte? But there's 3 cars in between third place and second place. Meanwhile, there's still 6 cars in between second and first. Michael Waltrip has got fresher tires. He's trying to make something out of today after having his race pretty much ruined just a few laps after the last restart. And he's got to push Ken Schrader up the track a little bit. Oh my God, they get really, really close multiple times. To see further up ahead, actually, Dave Blaney and Zachary kind of going at it. Zachary might want to make it easier on Dave Blaney if he knows Dave Blaney is going to be faster than him. There's 21 laps to go here at Dover. So yep, Zach goes right to the outside. He gives the inside to Dave Blaney, and there goes Dave Blaney. Dave Blaney grabs the spot, or will he? Will he unlap himself? Maybe he will. Zach's still rolling that outside. Dave Blaney does have fresher tires than Zachary, but there he goes. 20 to go, and Dave Blaney gets a lap back from Zach. So now we'll see how much Zach might fight Dave Blaney here in a little bit, if any. He's got a 5, almost 6-second lead over Bobby Labonte in the 18, who still sits second. And Zachary is on course right now to win for the 4th time of this season and for the 4th time of his career, and also for the first time go back-to-back. And not only just going back-to-back, and not only just winning back-to-back races, I should say, but also winning back-to-back 100-lap races. To be able to go 100 laps and win both of those races would be a huge accomplishment for Zach, and would probably boost his confidence even more the point standings, you see Zachary going to the inside of Ken Schrader, inside of Kenny Wallace, and then right to the outside of Dave Blaney. Dave Blaney didn't really go anywhere after Zach let him by. So Zach will just get back around the 77 to Dave Blaney. Looking further back there, you see Bob Labonte in the 18. Just doesn't look like he's able to really make a whole lot of headway on the 3 drivers ahead of him. But also behind with Dale Jr. He's kind of stuck behind Derek Cope and John Andretti. Tony Stewart in the 20 is up to 5th right now. Just behind Ricky Rudd in the 21, who's stuck behind Mike Skinner. Tony's stuck behind Morgan Shepherd. Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon are nearby. But it just may look like Ricky Rudd might be able to get him. You can go to the outside of Mike Skinner, and it looks like Skinner kind of checked up a little bit. And that'll be enough for Ricky Rudd to get around him and go right back after Junior, who's still trying to go after Derek Coe in the 37 just ahead of him. Junior's main worry is that he just doesn't want to get squeezed. If Junior's still trying to find a way around the 37 car. Ricky Rudd is getting closer, though. Tony is actually going to try to get to the outside of Mike Skinner, and he does so. Tony may be trying to keep a top 5. Tony would have either loved to finish 2nd or win the race. But maybe a top 5 will suffice for today. Ryan Newman is going to follow on the outside, right on the outside of Mike Skinner. Dale Earnhardt Jr., not really much is going on between him. He's just kind of stuck behind Derek Cope. Tony back there in the 20 actually got closer to Ricky Rudd. But Bobby Labonte, now he's still stuck behind Ward Burton and Larry Foyt. See further ahead, Michael Waltrip trying to get to the outside of Dave Blaney. And Zachary in the 80 car is actually ahead of Steve Park in the 31 with 13 laps to go. And Michael Waltrip going around the outside of Dave Blaney to grab the spot. And there's Zach in the 80 car keeping his distance, maintaining his pace. Now, a couple laps ago, Zachary kind of got a little bit of a worrying radio message saying that he might not be able to make it to the end of the race. He just might not have enough fuel to make it. But they are checking to see if he can make it to the end of the race, so we'll see if Zach can. But right now, he's going to try to go after Rusty Wallace in that Miller Lite Dodge for Penske. Trying to get to the inside of Rusty to grab this, to put him a lap down. Put another car in between him and Bobby Labonte, and go even further up the running order. There he goes to the inside of Rusty Wallace, and Steve Park's actually going to follow Zach a little bit. Because Steve Park has been fighting Rusty Wallace pretty much all race long, and Steve just wants to get around Rusty. Zach is doing a pretty good job of rolling that bottom, maintaining the gap. He's got 10 more laps and possibly a fuel problem on its way. Zach has actually got 2 of his Rookie of the Year contenders right in front of him with Casey Mears and Greg Biffle. This is where Zach thought he would be all race, like every single race this year, around these 2. He didn't think he'd have the pace to really compete for wins, but Zach's pace to compete for wins, and that's actually kind of shocking to say the least. He's got 9 more laps to seal the deal and make something happen. But the main question is, will his fuel last him all the way to the end? As it looks like he's getting closer to Greg Biffle in the 16. Casey Mears kind of getting a little bit loose out of the center of these corners. Losing some time because of it, losing some positions. As we look further back ahead, Albani's still in 2nd. Rudd is going for 3rd on Junior. They finally got around Derek Cope. But now Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ricky Rudd, and Tony Stewart are going to go at it for 3rd. Can Junior hold the spot over Rudd, or will Rudd get it on Junior? Looks like he can go past Junior for 3rd. Tony going to try the outside and maybe roll it. Doesn't look like it will work for now. Maybe it will. It does actually look like it will. Tony grabs 4th off of Junior. So Dale Jr. down to 5th, Tony up to 4th, and Rudd up to 3rd. The next car behind Junior is Jeff Gordon, but he's a ways back in the 24 car. And then you got Ryan Newman sitting in 7th, a little bit further back as well. Here is Z Labonte trying the outside of Larry Foyt. He actually got around Warburton. Now he's going to try the outside of Larry Foyt. There's 6 laps to go. And we are getting told, actually, that Zach is a lap short. So Zachary will actually run out of fuel on the last lap, coming to the white flag. And he's only got 5.5 seconds over the 18 of Labonte as he passes Larry Foyt. Now with 5 to go, the pressure's on Zach. He got around Greg Biffle, but can his fuel last him all the way? Zach's gonna try to lift and coast throughout these corners to try to make his fuel last somewhat. We have 4 laps to go at Dover. Zach is actually lifting earlier going into these corners. Try to save some fuel because Zach knows that he can make it, that he can win this race. He just needs to make it to the end. People might try to get back around him, but Zach probably wouldn't mind if he did. 3 to go. Bob Labonte is nowhere in sight. But Zachary still has the possibility of running out of fuel. Waltrip and Biffle might go to the outside and pass Zach, which Zach may have wanted to give him the bottom, but he's using the inside. This is a shorter way around. Save more fuel that way. 2 to go. Zachary is trying everything he possibly can to maintain the position, maintain the lead. He's done so for well over 80 laps. He might be able to seal the deal, but we're going to see in 1 lap's time. White flag is out one more time for Zach at Dover. He lets Greg Biffle go. Now he's going to try to save her to the end. Zach won the pole. He's dominated this race. He's led the most laps. He's led 88 laps today. If he can come around one more time, this will be his 89th lap led today. And he'll win here at Dover. And it looks like it's going to make it. Off turn number 4. Zachary's fuel's going to hold him. He actually sputters right there at the line, but he wins at Dover. Zachary Smithly barely wins it, or barely has his fuel last him all the way to the end, and he grabs his 4th career Winston Cup Series win. And unfortunately, because he ain't got no more fuel, fortunately we ain't gonna get a Zachary burnout. Which is really, really unfortunate if you think about it. Yeah, Zach, you see, actually came down pit road because he realized he wasn't gonna be able to do a burnout, which sucks for Zach, but his car held on. His car held on. His fuel held on. And he won at Dover. What a finish. And what a race, too. That was a lot of fun. And now we just have the finishing results to go through. So, Zachary Smithly gets the job done, and he wins today here at Dover, with Bobby Labonte finishing in 2nd, Ricky Rudd 3rd, Tony Stewart 4th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 5th, Jeff Gordon 6th, Ryan Newman 7th, Matt Kenseth in 8th, Kurt Busch in 9th, and Jimmy Johnson runs out the top 10. You got Jay McMurray in 11th, Dale Jarrett in 12th, Kevin Harvick fell down to 13th, Robbie Gordon 14th, Sterling Marlin 15th, Jeff Green 16th, Jeff Burton in 17th, Jerry Nadeau 18th, Terry Labonte in 19th, and Jerry Mayfield in 20th. Robbie Gordon actually got his best finish for DEI today with that 14th. And you got Johnny Benson in 21st, Tony Raines in 22nd, Joe Nemechek in 23rd, Bill Elliott 24th, Kyle Petty 25th, Mark Martin 26th, Ricky Craven 27th, Greg Biffle 28th, Rusty Walson 29th, and Dave Blaney rounds out the top 30. You got Steve Park at 31st, Casey Mears 32nd, Kenny Wallace 33rd, we're Burton 34th, Larry Foyt 35th, Derek Cope 36th, Mike Skinner 37th, Morgan Shepherd with his first start of the season at 38th, Mike Waltrip at 39th, and Elliott Sadler in 40th. And here are the last 3 finishing results with Kenny Schrader 41st, John Andretti 42nd, Tom Bodine in 43rd. So it's not the best of races, I'd have to say, for some of those drivers, but could be worse. It could be worse. but it's definitely going to affect where they are point standings wise coming out of today, which, speaking of which, let's go on ahead and jump into that, shall we? So, with his 4th career win of the season, Zachary Smithly actually increases his championship lead now to 120 points ahead of new second-place driver Ricky Rudd. Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon fall down to 3rd and 4th. Matt Kenseth is now 5th. Jimmy Johnson's in 6th. Bill Elliott in 7th. Jeff Green up in the top 10 in 8th. Kurt Busch is in 9th. And Jeff Burton is in 10th. Then you got Kevin Harvick in 11th. Michael Waltrip in 12th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 13th. Bobby Labonte in 14th. Tony Stewart 15th. Jamie McMurray in 16th. Sterling Marlin in 17th. Jeremy Mayfield in 18th. Dale Jarrett in 19th. And Tony Raines rounds out the top 20 in the points. Nelly Salers in 21st. Johnny Andretti 22nd. Gray Bevel 23rd. Rusty Walls 24th. Johnny Benson in 25th. Kenny Walls in 26th. Kyle Petty in 27th. Mark Martin in 28th. Dave Blaney in 29th. And Steve Park sits in 30th. And you got Terry Labonte in 31st. Joe Nemechek 32nd. Jerry Nadeau in 33rd. Casey Mears 34th. Ricky Craven 35th. Ward Burn in 36th. Todd Bodine in 37th. Robbie Gordon in 38th. Jimmy Spencer's in 39th. And Ken Schrader in 40th. Then Larry Foyt in 41st. Mike Skinner. Actually, no, the number 0. No, it is Mike Skinner. Sorry. The owner's points kind of got to me a little bit. But Mike Skinner is in 42nd. Jack Sprague is in 43rd. Casey Atwood is 44th. Mike Wallace 45th. Christian Fittipaldi in 46th. Jason Keller 47th. Kerry Earnhardt in 48th. Herbie Sadler in 49th. Buckshot Jones in 50th. Derek Cope 51st. Scott Pruitt in 52nd. Kirk Sherman in 53rd. Brett Bodine in 54th. And Morgan Shepherd in 55th. So far we've had 55 drivers so far this season. That's quite a bit of drivers if you ask me. But we're probably going to get a lot more as the season progresses. As the next race is the Pocono 500 at the Pocono Raceway. So that one should be interesting because it's a triangle track and there's no 4th corner. So that'll be interesting. But I do want to thank you guys all so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell below for some more. And normally we would show the driver or Zachary doing a burnout or any driver doing a burnout. But with no fuel, no burnout. I know it sucks. But maybe next time when he wins. But I'll see you all this coming Saturday for the race of Pocono. And I will see you all then. So have a good night, everybody. I love y'all. And goodbye.